What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Sserafim's third EP slash third mini album, Easy. Sserafim back since their debut album Unforgiven last year, and most recently their first English single, Perfect Night, which became a pretty big hit for them. And I've been a huge fan of Sserafim ever since that 2022 debut, just because I think they're like a really engaging new K-pop group, and I think they're just really exciting. There's a lot of personality in these members. I think there's a lot of fun vocal talent, and just the songs that HYBE, Source Music, and Seraphim are in the mix to make all the time. I think are really cool. They make a lot of big songs, but also are not afraid to jump around genre. Especially on that Unforgiven album last year, they are dabbling in different types of sounds, and I think they're a talented enough group that they can really pull that off. And I think this is quite exciting, obviously. And Easy, unfortunately, I have to say, I was let down by this EP as a fan of the group. I think this is pretty easily their least interesting release that they've put out. I think the biggest sin of all is that this is a project that really kind of stamps down on the personality of all the individual members of Seraphim. You think of someone like Chaewon or Yunjin, they are big idols, like very talented. They can do a lot of things, but vocally on Easy, a lot of times you don't even know who's singing because it's really understated and kind of stripped back. And I think the biggest culprit of this would be the title track, Easy, ostensibly the biggest song on the project. But with Easy, it's really hard to tell who is singing those notes. I think this is just kind of a basic trap beat with a lot of bland verses. The auto-tune dubbing that they do on all the members' vocals just really makes it sound more anonymous than it should, because this is not a group that usually sounds anonymous. They have so much personality and presence on the mic usually. I was really surprised. I think the Damn I Really Make It Look Easy hook from Chaewon, it's easily like the best like vocal moment on the song. It's like one of the best lines. That's cool. But like everything else about the song, it's just too understated, man. It just doesn't pop like some of their other bigger songs do. And I think overall, Chaewon and Yunjin have like the best lines, but it's not saying much. Like this is a song that I feel like really kind of reins in the girls. Like it really like prevents them from shining the way they usually do pretty effortlessly. So yeah, Easy as a title track, I was pretty surprised by. The EP starts off with this, intro track called Good Bones, which is kind of inspired by this Maggie Smith poem, reportedly. And it definitely gives you the vibe of a poem. It's all the members kind of going through these kind of like affirmations, in various languages, Korean, English, Japanese. And they kind of all flock to the same refrain: easy, crazy, hot, I can make it. And they kind of like screech it out. And it's telling you or suggesting that there's going to be like a bit of like passion and like maybe like emo nature to it in some way, because there's guitar and drums all throughout Good Bones. But it really just kind of fades away once you get into the actual like songs you're going to revisit on the release. The Seraphim, they're a group that often have really impressive B-sides, songs that people really like. Think of songs like Sour Grapes or Blue Flame or Impurities or No Celestial. Like they don't, get lazy with the B-sides. And I think actually the B-sides, once again, probably shine the most on this Easy album here. The song Swan Song, the drums immediately are just more a beat than the Easy title track, and the singing just stands out more. I think partially because those vocal effects just aren't present. The song Smart, I also thought was vocally pretty fun. You hear some horns for the first time on the release, kind of reminiscent of how No Celestial had some horns. Also, the production, again, kind of dabbling in some other genres. I think this one kind of taking a bit of like an Afrobeat inspiration, which again is a nice callback to what they did on Unforgiven with the song Fire in the Belly, which definitely had kind of like a Latin pop flair to it. The last song, We Got So Much, also stands out just for being a bit more upbeat. So I think like these B-sides will probably grab people that are fans of the group, and especially when you compare them to other B-sides of their past. But I think like the big flashy song, the title track Easy, is kind of easily, unfortunately, their weakest title track to date. And, that's a high bar to clear. They got some big bangers, right, with Fearless and Anti-Fragile and Unforgiven and Perfect Night. Like, these are some, big songs, big singles, big flashy songs. So it's clearly not what they were going for. It's a change. But to me, this change, I think, just doesn't quite grab you the same way. And I think because of some of those production choices with those vocal effects, I just doesn't think it stands out enough for something that's supposed to be a little bit subtler. So yeah, this is a letdown for me, I have to say. I'm sure they're going to release something again towards the end of the year. That's kind of the MO with HYBE these days. Lots of EP drops, lots of single drops. So, I mean, Perfect Night was a sponsored song with Overwatch and Blizzard, and that ends up becoming a huge hit for them and a really big entry point as their first English song. So they can clearly achieve great heights with seemingly simple, artistic releases, such as just one-off song that's sponsored with Perfect Night. So I think they'll bounce back from Easy, no problem. I'm not worried about it or anything like that. But just a bit let down that this is kind of their new release going into an upcoming world tour this year. It just feels a bit more muted than it should be. But of course, they have a pretty fun catalog already as a group that's less than 2 years old. So I think they'll be just fine on tour. But yeah, let me know. What did you think about Easy? Are you a bit let down by its kind of understated nature? Did you find more things to like? For more K-pop reviews, more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.